Hi, welcome to Dice Control Dojo. I'm Phil and I practice every day, share my tips so we can all get better at the casino. Join me today where we're going to talk about our toys, all of our practice aids, things that I've used over the years. I want to talk about each one, what works, what doesn't work, and what you can do if you run into a jam and you want to try and figure out how to fix some things. So let's get started. First and foremost, we talk a lot about all the different things that you can use. If you don't have a casino table like this, and you have a practice aid, a practice box, that's fine. Just take into consideration one thing, and we can talk about this a little bit more. When you have a box out there and you're throwing, if it's hitting the sides and you're getting a bad roll, a 7, I'd be nervous about that. So the first thing I want to say is when you're doing your practice tables, if you have a practice rig set up and it's that box, just be aware that most likely the dice are going to fly around like here. If I throw this off, it's going to go all over the place. It may not sit settled. Well, that was a good shot. But you know what I mean? If you throw it and they go way over to the side, your numbers may be different than when you have a box that is only this big. So if it hits these sides or bounces and hits the sides, those numbers may be off. So just be careful with that. I'm not always relying on my SRR, but I'd just be worried about my throw and my quality of my throw when we're talking about practice rigs. Now, what are the different things? I could talk hours about these things, but I'm going to break them down to you. My favorite thing that I've ever had, ever, is the gripper. So this gripper is fantastic. It's got a nice mirror on there. It's got a ledge down here. If your fingers are too small or you want a tighter grip on the dice, a higher grip on the dice, there's some tongue depressors that'll raise it up a little bit so your grip isn't as deep as you may want it, maybe up higher, and that depends on your throw. So the gripper has always been my favorite thing. I've had it for years, and it's a really good way of gripping, and then the mirror can see what you're doing if you're lined up right away, and you can match that. So I really like the gripper. The other thing the gripper does, well, one, it's portable. I like that I can travel with it. I can pack it easy. Two, the mirror can be used underneath. So if you want some underneath, seeing if you're lined up and you're looking straight down, you can use this mirror on the floor of your, so when you're looking straight down, you can use that mirror on the ground to also see how your throw is. So I'm always a fan of my gripper, and I'm always liking that I can practice getting that grip right. Now the gripper is only good, obviously, if you're doing a 3-finger grip or a 2-finger grip. It's not really good for other types, but still for me, I've used that the most out of anything. So mirrors are very important, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to have a mirror up. You could probably find an old mirror. These are my two mirrors from upstairs I stole out of the bedrooms, and why I like these are I got one mirror straight on here, so I can see my throw straight like this, and I can see if my shoulders are aligned. I can see if I'm looking straight down. I can focus on if my grip has my circle, and then I have the mirror down here, which is also very convenient to have a mirror at the end, because you can look down and see your throw. When you're warming up, you can see, is my arm aligned? Am I throwing straight down? So I like having a couple mirrors. That, of course, goes into if you want to spend some money, I have a a camera above me looking straight down. I have had cameras or use your phone to look this way, a phone over here to look this way, and I had a camera that looks straight at me. So I could put those all on my computer and see all four angles and see if I'm missing something. But that's a little expensive. You don't have to do that. Another essential that I had since day one is I glued two dice together. It's the silliest thing, but I use this, as you can see, I use this to mark my dice, my fingers, to make sure that the dice are aligned. So I also do it. It's kind of a silly thing, but it's also, you can use it to see if your dice are going off right. Now, when you glue it together, it may not be exactly aligned, so don't always trust that the throw is going the proper way, but you can definitely try and see how aligned you are. And that's a simple thing to do, is to mark your dice, glue it, and glue them together. So I use these dice just to see if I'm throwing it at the right angle, and if I'm gluing it, see, sometimes it'll be wobbly. So did I grip that right? So a simple thing of gluing, super gluing a couple dice together can definitely get you where you want to be. Some other things that I've done over the years, tape measure is also very nice, not just for the fact that you can measure out how far you are, but you can also use it to align your throw. So if you're not having a casino type situation, a table like this, you can make sure you're throwing along the line, and you can throw this down so you can see the angle if I'm throwing it at the angle I want it to go and where I want to go. So I use that quite a bit. Obviously, you can use your stick. They do make these little ramps so that if you have to throw it up and over like that, you want to change your angle. We've used sticks to be able to do that. I've used my laser to try and line up my throw, just like using the tape measure. I didn't find it very successful. The batteries wear out quite a bit, so I didn't do that. Believe it or not, I had grabbed this once. This is a for putting, and it has a little beam on here that you can see where you're throwing. And what I was trying to do is, my head wasn't steady, so when I was aligning my dice up to throw, I was trying to aim right for where it is and using that. This was just trying something new. Didn't really help, but one thing that it does do well is if I'm trying to fix a landing zone like that, it does recharge, and I can pick my landing zone. So if I don't want to use my if I don't want to use my bean bags, or worse than that, I told you about my 9. I put my 9 stuff out here. If you don't want to be hitting the chip so you get a very good bounce, the laser can sometimes, you can put that exactly where you want it in order for you to be successful. So I do use that to try and hit the laser beam. And since this is rechargeable, I'm not using up batteries, I don't mind using that. So I obviously use a lot of bean bags. I like bean bags, once again, because when they land, they fall off so that I can keep throwing tons of dice, okay? And then the last thing, one of my PT buddies said to me, if you're having a problem with this, your wrist being a little wonky and doing some, your wrist is moving a lot while you're throwing, did you think about trying a wrist brace? So This wrist brace I tried is a little thick for me, so it's hard for me to grip the dice. But once I grip it, if I'm having problems that my wrists are breaking all the time, this will definitely stiffen that wrist so you get a good throw. So I have used all of these little toys. There's a ton of them. I'm sure there's others. Do you guys have any things that you guys use to help you with your dice? Just in the comments, put down stuff that you guys use. I've probably missed a bunch of stuff, but this is all the stuff that I've had over the years that I've used just to help correct different little things. So I hope this helped. Join me tomorrow. I'm still doing that. Join me on Friday, where we're going to talk about some more practice issues. I got a big practice issue to talk to you about on Friday, so hopefully you join in. And as always, I never talk about betting strategies. I'll talk about practice all day long with you. So I hope you join me. And as always, the best betting strategy I use is to be able to throw for a long, long time.